Hello everyone. So today we will look at Python tuple. So we have seen in the last discussion we talked about a Python list, and so we can create a list. For example, I can say b equal to, I can say I need a square bracket, right? 1 2 3 4, right? Or I can say b equal to, I don't need to be like, I can say 1.2 3.4, right? I can have floating types, or I can, for example, also have mixed integers and float. And I can also say b, for example, equal to x comma, means I can have strings, right? Or I can also mix all the data types that we have studied so far. So, and we can also look at how to get the elements. For example, I can, if we want, I can index b of 0 is x, b of 1 is y, and we can also index from the end with a -1, -2, -3, and so forth. So we have seen that, and we can also, we know that we can use directory b, and we can look at all these methods which is available on the list, which is like, we have append, we have seen some of them, we have pop, reverse, and sort, and so forth. So now so now say, let us say for example, we have our b is our list. So for suppose, let us create, say, a couple of tool list. So maybe, for example, first can be say groceries, right? A list of groceries. Say, you can say rice, and you can say some green ground, right? So I have two lists here, and I can say their grocery prices, right? Price, and I am saying for the rice I'm putting 1, and green corresponding 2. Suppose they are the corresponding prices, so I can say groceries, right? 0 will be grocery 0 is rice, and g price 0 is 1. For example, I can write something like y, right? I can say j equal to 0, right? While, right, j less than or less than length of g groceries, right? I can say print groceries of I and g prices of I, and then we'll increment j plus equal to 1, right? Yeah, so yeah, sorry, this is index is wrong. We are using j, right? So this is the code. So which means rice, the price of rice corresponding 1, and green gram, the corresponding price is 2. So now the point is suppose we have now I can say g prices. Say, for example, I take, suppose the price increased for rice, right? Say there's 0. I want to say change, and I say is equal to 1.2. Now if I run, right, see now the price of rice, we get 1.2. So what does that mean? Means I have G prices. Earlier it was 1,2. Now I changed. So here we say the G prices, which is a list, we say it is mutable. So we say mutable. So I can change any positional value in a list. I can just say assign a new value. So earlier earlier I had something like 1,2, and now I have 1.2,2, right? So I changed. So I say the lists are mutable. So this may not be desirable in some circumstances. For example, you may have, for example, let's say y is a function of x, right? Say y is a function of x. So we know already. We already created, y equal to lambda. Let's create an x. We can say a0 star x square plus a1 star 2 7 star x plus b a2, right? So I create it's a second degree polynomial, a quadratic equation in y. So here I have a0, I have a1 and a2. Basically the equation is something like ax square plus bx plus c. So their constants are a0, a1 and a2. So now what is the thing that we want to solve? So let us define, right? So I say a0, right? A0 so I can say 5, right? And a1 I'd say 6 or something like that. A2 equal to 7 or 8. Okay, 7. So now if I say this is a lambda we already seen, I can say y1 18, right? So here a0, a1, a2, a7, right? Suppose, so this is some so you wrote a piece of code, and now you have a lot of calculations going on in that, maybe a lot of so say it's a long piece of code, and you would want, suppose somebody else is using it, and or yourself, you don't want any time accidentally even changing any of these values. So suppose this is some constants and it says constant for throughout your piece of code. In that case, as we've seen, suppose I can make, say, a, right? Yes, or say I can make a constants equal to, I can do this, right? A0 like a list, a1, a2, right? But now we know that a constants, then I can now immediately say 0 equal to say 2, right? I can change it. But if I don't want that thing to happen, what we can do is I can say a constant, rather than doing this, I can do this. Now if I look at type of a constants, it's a tuple, right? It is not, remember, this is what, this is list, right? At the moment we have seeing something new. It's called a tuple. So if I so the syntax is our regular parenthesis. So I can also write the same thing like this. Okay, I don't need a parenthesis, I can just put a comma and again type against a tuple. So either, so if I do 1 2 3, it is a tuple. So the two ways, so simple. Now let us look at the idea I was saying. If I do 0 equal to 5, see, this is the idea. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So we have a new data type, or like, you know, a collection. It is called tuple, and what we see is I cannot change the value. So what we say, it's immutable. So mutable and immutable. So I cannot change the value of an item in a tuple like list. In the list, I can take any value. I can put find the I can index and change the value of that particular position, whichever I want. But in a tuple, if it is 567, it is 567 throughout. And so and as seen previously, we can look at, you know, we can look at what are the things available here. Unlike, so you don't have much here. See, you can't, since you can't change, you only count and index. So for example, I can say, I can create a tuple, right? 12 13, right? I can count, for example, 12, so 2. So this is very simple. I have 2 elements. 12 is there in 2 times, right? And I can also say the other one as the index. We have seen, I believe we have seen it for it will give you the first element whose index is 12, or you can check 13 as 0 1 2. So same thing, same idea. I can always get the elements, right? I can get a0 is a constants. I can index similarly, but the only idea is that we cannot change the value in place. So tuple is immutable. So it's very simple. The syntax is very simple for tuple. I can do 1 3 4 5, right? Or I can do same thing with a parenthesis. So it is very easy. And so for example, I can create 1 2, and suppose I can create it, right? I can have tuple. So now if I look at, say, let's tuple, say, so I can say, so I said I can't say this, right? P equal to 23, right? So it is immutable. But now if you see P of, what is P of 0 1 2? Once again, so P is this. So 0 1 2 3 is a list, right? P of 2 is a list, 3. Now we know that lists are mutable. List is what? List is mutable, right? So I can say this is what? 3, right? So I indexed it, I get 3, and one more indexing gives me 3. So now I can, so let us see if I want, let's see, right? See, it works. So now if you look at P, it's 15. So but as I show you, I cannot, these are part of a tuple, and I cannot change 15. I can't change the list itself there. But since the list is mutable, I can change the value inside that list. So some small detail which you may come when you code, but for a very simple, if you forget about all those things, it's very simple and straightforward. So that is a tuple. I believe this is very easy to follow, and thanks a lot for watching.